Hey, what's up? You guys have seen a lot of the videos and pictures that I've posted recently of going to the river, and how awesome it is and how much fun I have. But I need to make a video about safety, and I gotta tell you honestly, I got hurt yesterday when we went. Not making a video for sympathy or that kind of thing. It was just one of those Mother Nature wake up calls that reminded me that if I'm gonna be the person I want to be and be the face of the desert and safety and loving of it. You have to be honest when something dumb or you get hurt or whatever happens when you're out there. So I hope you'll take a minute and hang out with me. Just this won't be a long video, but I definitely want to share some of the safety and just some of the reality of being tubing in Arizona. If you're going to go down the Salt River or go down parts of it, I definitely think that we should hang out and talk a little bit. Like I said, because I've posted these videos of the beautiful horses that are there, the beautiful area. I mean, and I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from going, for sure. Please, like, let's make that clear. I love it and I'm going to continue going. But I also need to make sure that when I'm talking about it, we talk about the reality of going tubing on a river, excuse me, that it is not like being at an amusement park. This is not a controlled environment. I think that nature has its way of reminding you of what's important in your life. And my health, my being alive, my being mobile is very important to me, and I was reminded of it yesterday. So you guys are like, all right, what happened, Stace? Cut to it, right? You went tubing. Yeah, tubing for the most part, I've always felt like it was safe. It's just a good time, and when you're younger, definitely there's not a lot of sense of what can happen. When you're younger, jumping off the cliffs over there and all those kind of things seem like a great time. Drinking yourself till you can't even speak properly. Younger, you do tend to behave that way. That is elements of going to the river for sure, and tubing and having a good time. The other part of it is the reality that there are no lifeguards. There's no one that's going to save you. There's no ropes. There's things that can actually go wrong when you're out there. There's not a lot of safety net for you. So when you say yes to taking that tube, all they've said is, well, here's your tube and here's your ride. Not that I'm gonna get you there safely. So remember what you're asking for, though. This isn't at a hotel. This isn't at like I said, an amusement park. This is out in the wild. This is where where you're out with nature. Now, there are going to be people that are listening to this going, well, yeah, no, that's taste. Well, you're in that category of people that normally go out and being in the wilderness, and it is just part of it for you. But if you're some of the people that watch and follow me and are excited and are wanting to start doing some of these things, I have to be honest that you could possibly get hurt. That's something I already took into consideration, but I don't know if I ever voiced it to you guys. I've tried to put across to you that I'm kind of a rough and tumble type of girl myself. I'm not that big. I'm about 5'6", whatever. I'm kind of sturdy, is what I would say. I don't work out all the time, but I'm physically fit enough, and I've put myself in enough challenges and work outside in the yard and stuff that I'm fairly strong, and I'm a fairly strong swimmer, and I have spent a decent amount of time either around the water, in the water, swimming, so I don't have that kind of fear of swimming. Where you run into problems when you go to the river is that there's rocks, there's shallow areas that are gonna trip you up, and the speed and momentum and the flow and the pressure of all that water coming at you, you may not be able to stand up if something happens, or you're like, well, it's shallow. Well, there's other things that come into play. Your ability to be able to get out of the tube because of all those things, your own mobility, and then something I want to touch on today, your mental state if something bad happens, how you respond in certain situations based on what you've been through before. So I've had a bad experience on the river before, higher up in a kayak. And so, yeah, I will definitely tell that story. So that was something that played into effect on my response on how I behaved in the water when something bad happened. So what happened? So we're tubing, and yesterday there's different times they let you go either all the way down from what they call 1 to 4, or there's different spots you can get in and get out from, and it's anywhere from 4.5 hours down to like a couple hours depending on where you get in and out. But in those spaces, there's a long space before there's good possibility of getting out or getting help or getting a ride somewhere else. A lot of the times that we go, we just go for a couple hours. So you get dropped off at number 2, get out at number 4. It's a couple hours, done. Yesterday we went for the longer one because it was available. Went up to 1, which is going to take you into a different speed of the flow. And they told us yesterday it was flowing pretty fast, and you could tell by the videos that I posted it was. If you look at where the horses are, no one sped anything up. The water is going, and I don't know if we really noticed that either. Once you're in it, whatever, because there's spots that are slower and there's spots that are faster. So I don't know if I really paid attention to it. Definitely noticed that the water level was higher, so there was a lot of water in there. So long story short, y'all know I already had hurt my foot. I have broken toe from before. I've heard it more from being in my boots and stuff. So I actually thought yesterday I could just float in the water and chill and take some time off. Worked in the morning, cut out, in the early afternoon, and thought I could just have a relaxing day. So anyway, so we're going down the river, and you reach a point that the water momentum was starting to push us, of course, over to the wall kind of side. Now this is what I wanted to talk about. This isn't a lazy river where you've got like these soft sides. You are out in the wild, and there's trees. No one's grooming this for you, okay? So that's what I want to make sure that I put across. There's no lifeguards, there's no help, and you got actual trees that are growing out into this. You got things that are happening. There's stuff out there. So you have to be an active participant in your tubing. You don't just get to sit there. You're gonna have to do some things in some sections to help get you forward moving, whatever, or not get hurt or impaled by something or by a rock or slammed into something. So there's parts of it that you actually have to do something. So if you think I'm just sitting out there like this the whole time, that is not. And so I'm sorry if I've given that impression. You're doing some stuff. I'm sore today. I'm sore from some of the moving around. Like I said, and again, there's gonna be people who are like, that's not how it is. It depends on what you're floating in, your floating device, the speed of there's a lot of things. That's why I'm talking about this. So we hit a spot that the river was flowing pretty heavy. They'd warned us about it on the bus ride up there, that you're gonna have to watch some of these curves because the water's going. We hit it, and there's no turning. It couldn't turn it, and I can see this. It's part of a tree, and it's coming straight out. It's coming at me. There's no. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna get it? And so there's no moving around it. And so I grab for it. It spins me right into the tree. I'm in the water now. Jay's right next to me. It flips me out of my tube. It's that fast. There's a guy that's kind of standing on that curve, and I now know why. He's probably been watching people just get mangled over there. Jay told me later, dude looked like he was ready to jump in at me. Okay, so I'm now underwater. I've taken in water. But it's not deep, you guys. That's what I want you to understand. I'm getting tagged in a lot of water into these trees. I've lost my tube, but there's rocks. There's rocks. So I'm gonna get beat up in this process. And so as I kind of get myself out, and I grabbed a hold of Jay, I grabbed a hold of him. So I reach up, grab a hold of him. Another horrible move, because I could have flipped him out of his as well. I don't know. We kind of got us out of there. I was dragged pretty good along the rocks of the water until I could get back up into my inner tube. My knees jacked up, my foot. I took a beating on the rocks. To some of us, that's normal. That's gonna sound like an idiot. That's what you go out for. It's the adrenaline. You're just, it's part of play. You're playing hard, and shit happens. I'm sorry to use that, but that's how it is. I just want to make sure that I'm saying it to those people that they don't want shit to happen. Maybe if going down the tubing isn't for you, please know and understand that, I'm playing differently. And so when people have asked me about what it's like, or should they bring family members or kids, I can't overly answer that, because that's going to depend on a lot of things. It depends on that person and their ability and their mental state when something scary happens, and their ability to be able to can they swim, can they keep their head, all of that. If you've got someone that you're questionable about, then I'd at least put a safety vest on, something, because yeah, because good luck. Because oh my God, if in a nanosecond your tube isn't gone and you're trying to get yourself back to something. Was I the only person that came out of a tube yesterday? No, and not just that spot. We were down a little bit further, and watched this poor, everybody's cute down, this cute girl, totally come out of hers, and she wound up having to swim to another friend and pretty much stayed on her tube the rest of the way out. So yeah, you need to be careful, and you need to be aware of when you're gonna go tubing, what the possibilities are and why they tell you to wear shoes and stuff, because there's a lot of rocks out there and you might have to kick yourself off of a rock or the bushes that are coming at you along the river. Now, about 15 years ago now, I had been out here a long time. People that I knew were gonna go kayaking up further up the Salt River, and I thought it sounded like a fantastic idea, and so I went. I voluntarily, like I said, I don't blame anybody for the crazy I do. I voluntarily get myself out there, but I'm warning you about this trip as well, okay? So I signed, it was like $150, $175, whatever at the time. You get to go from higher up on the Salt River in a kayak, and then you get to go down. It sounded amazing, and everybody's like, oh, this is a good time. You go with this big group, and some people are in rafts, and some people are in these kayaks, and everybody I was going to go with was like, we're going to go in the kayaks. All right, let's do this. They tell me they give you a helmet and a vest. I'm in, but I've never been in a kayak in my life. But I'm like, I can do this. I'm in good shape. They're like, oh, sure you can, Stacey. You got this. It's hours all day gonna go kayaking, and they tell us you're gonna see or be a part or experience, however they said it, class 2, class 3 rapids. I don't even know what that means. I'm that stupid. I don't know. All right, let's just go. This sounds like a great time. Let's do this, right? Yeah. That was probably one of those experiences in my life that I came this close to not being here anymore, being way out of my league, signing up for something that I had no business doing. And by the time that we got to those class 2, class 3 rapids, what everybody came for, I was terrified. I was beat up. I was not in the shape to do that because I had lied and said I had been in a kayak before. Of course, they ask you those questions. Have you done this before? You're like, oh, sure. All my friends would tell me, yeah. No, I should have said no. And there I wound up being like the last person plus the guide that was with us at the top of this falls. And at this point now, it's like, you gotta go. He can only show you where I'm going. You're on your own. And for half a second, I'm sitting up on a falls, whatever. And for some of you, that may not even be a big thing. For someone who's never been in a kayak before, that was the most terrifying thing I've ever done to myself in my life. So I sat in this kayak I don't know how to do this. Follow his line. I don't know what I'm doing. And so I said my final to God to help me. And I was kind of stuck on some rocks. So I've got to scooch myself forward and go down a waterfall in a kayak. It was horrible. As I scooch forward, my kayak starts turning backwards, and this is, honest to God, take the falls backwards. I'm terrified that I was just gonna tumble my way down. By the grace of the universe, I made it out. I bounced myself out. I was the last one, and I'm still here, very beat up. That was a horrible experience, and so it's amazing I even still get in the river or go tubing. But like I said, some of it's life experience, and you can't live like a veal. You can't wrap yourself up and not experience things. But you also, when you go out, you have to be honest with yourself, your capabilities. I've been now blessed a couple times by the universe when I'm in this same very Salt River that I need to be careful, and I need to, if I'm going to talk to everybody, tell them to be careful too. So I'm going to rest for a few days. I know I've been saying that, but now I really have to. I love you all for the time you spend with me and for caring about me, even when my foot was sort of messed up. This you guys are gonna be like, oh my God, you can't go out anywhere anymore. Jay made me laugh so hard this morning. My side still hurt because I was like, I really just need to get away. And I need to be like just pampered and just, just spend some time and all of that. And he goes, well, he could get you a straight jacket and some diapers and tie you down. I'm like, that's not what I was picturing. I was picturing like, cucumbers and by a pool and relaxing, not that, but maybe he's closer to right. I need a break. I need to rest this body a little bit. I am 52 years old and it doesn't bounce back as easy, and I am aware of it. And so, anyways, stay safe, you guys. If you have any questions about the river or whatever, just play safe. If you can play hard, remember that it's gonna hurt too. The rocks hit hard. Much love. Talk to you later.